Hey, what's going on, guys? Xclusive here, and today we are finally starting our Twitch TV and live streaming section. We're starting our section of the we're starting our live streaming section of our Tricks of the Trade series. And unlike the YouTube section, if you guys watched the episode I uploaded today, if you haven't, obviously you can go check it out if you'd like. It's a pretty good video in my opinion, but if you want to go check that out, you can. But we talked about kind of the thought process behind making a channel and kind of questions you should ask yourself before you decide to make one. And questions after you decided you want to make a channel, and that kind of stuff. If you want to watch that video, you can. When it comes to streaming, it's a little bit different. It's not really the same. The same thought process doesn't exactly come into play. At least not at first. The first thing that you really comes to mind, if you've decided you want to stream and you've decided you want to be not only just a live streamer, you want to start streaming games with your friends or whatever you do. I think the first thing that comes into play is hardware, and I think there's probably 5 things that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't even know if one counts as hardware, but we're going to count it anyway. But there's about 5 different things I can think of hardware-wise that you're going to want to make sure you have before you start live streaming, or you're going to have obviously massive trouble. So let's jump into what those 5 things are right now. So number 1 obviously is going to be some sort of computer. So whether you're streaming on the PC, whether you're streaming on... actually, I've seen people stream on a Mac as well, so I can't even say that. But obviously, to live stream, you're going to need some sort of computer. So whether you want to buy a desktop, whether you want to buy a laptop, whether you want to buy a MacBook, whether you want to buy one of the iMac like towers, it's entirely up to you. Personally, I would recommend some sort of PC tower, not Mac, but that's just in my opinion. I think a lot more things are compatible on the PC side of things, but I would definitely look into buying yourself a gaming grade computer that's going to be strong enough to not only play the games you want to play, but obviously run the programs you need to run software-wise to actually live stream. So you want to make sure you invest your money in some sort of computer, some sort of gaming grade rig that's going to allow you to stream. And I think most people can kind of figure that out for themselves when they go to either pick out their computer or they go to kind of pick the parts for them if they're going to build it themselves. I did not build mine myself. I kind of picked the parts for it, and it was pre-built for me. And I would honestly recommend doing that if you don't know how to build one yourself. But if you haven't built one yourself, I've heard a lot of people say that's probably one of the best things you can do. It's cheaper and it's a lot of fun to learn. So if you want to take that risk, go ahead. It's a lot of fun, apparently. I wish I did it, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, so step 1 would obviously be buying some sort of PC or some sort of computer that's going to allow you to stream. That's just going to be your number 1 step before you jump into anything else, any sort of brainstorming. Or any sort of technical things when it comes to streaming. Number 1 is going to be just buying some sort of computer to allow you to even stream in the first place. And the second thing you're going to want to ask yourself, or the second thing hardware-wise that you're going to want to buy, obviously the first thing you want to ask yourself is what are you going to be streaming? So if you're going to be streaming, and by what you're going to be streaming, I don't mean what game, I mean what platform are you going to be streaming on. So do you want to stream, for instance, the Xbox One? Do you want to stream the Xbox 360? Are you going to be streaming on the PS3? Are you going to be streaming just your PC games? Like, are you going to be playing Minecraft on the computer, for instance? Are you going to be playing, you want to stream your fucking Game Boy? I have no idea. Those are questions you should ask yourself, though, before you obviously jump into streaming. And if, for instance, you want to stream on your Xbox 360, you're going to need some sort of capture card. So most of the time, I mean, there's a few different models out there and brands out there that you can check out. Number 1 recommendation for me would just be an AverMedia. I've got an AverMedia Live game capture C9850, I think. I think it's, hold on, I have it on my computer somewhere. C9850, or no, C85. There we go. C985. That's it. AverMedia Live game capture C985. That would be it. Sorry, the model numbers are confusing, but yeah, I would recommend an AverMedia just for in my opinion, for an actual capture card to buy. You can also look into like a Blackmagic, for instance. If you want to get like a Blackmagic Intensity Pro, you can look into Hauppauge. I think they make like an HD PVR. There's a whole bunch of different different capture cards out there for you to try. Elgato is really good for streaming the PS3, apparently, from what everybody's told me. So there's a lot of different things you have to look into before you actually start streaming, and obviously one being hardware. So if you're streaming any sort of console, you want to make sure you buy a capture card. If you're streaming on your PC, for instance, you don't necessarily need some sort of high-tech capture card. You really only need the software for that so that you can kind of capture your screen. So PC is a little bit different. If you're looking to stream something like League of Legends or Minecraft or anything like that, I guess you're in luck and you just kind of need software. But when it comes to streaming something like a console, like an Xbox or a PS3, you're gonna need some sort of capture card, like I said, like an AverMedia, like an Elgato, like a Blackmagic, whatever you choose to buy. There's a whole bunch of them out there for you to try. You can go look up the reviews on YouTube. I'm sure there's a ton of them. But the exact one that I use will be in the description of the video in case I completely got the model and brand wrong, which I doubt I did. But in case I got the model number wrong, you can go ahead and check it in the description if you'd like. As well as a link to any of the other hardware things that we talk about, aside from my computer. Everything else will also be linked in the description for you to check out if you're interested in buying any of the equipment that I have. And the third thing that comes into mind when you're thinking of hardware for streaming is going to be a good microphone. You're going to want to buy some sort of high-tech microphone that's going to allow you to, usually, I mean, there's a ton of USB microphones out there that are going to do the trick, but you're going to want some sort of external microphone. So you're not going to want your headset that you're actually streaming and or that you're playing with and talking to friends on, let's say on Skype, for instance. You're going to want to be buying some sort of external microphone for just for streaming or just for making videos. And that is something I would highly recommend. So you can get something like I have the Audio-Technica AT2020 is what I'm pretty sure it's called. Like I said, a link to all of it will be in the description. But you can look into buying an Audio-Technica if you'd like. Those are really good. I've heard the Blue Yetis are extremely good. I know a lot of people, when they first started making videos and streaming, they bought a Blue Snowball. I personally bought 3 of those when I first started, so I wouldn't recommend buying one. They break really easily, but they're cheap. They're more on the cheaper side. It's really up to you, depending on, where you personally, your price range is, and how much money you're willing to spend on one. But yeah, so the third thing you want to look at is obviously a microphone to make sure that your audio is coming in clear for your viewers and that they can hear you clearly over the game and all of that kind of stuff. You want to make sure your microphone is clear and actually bringing the audience good audio. So that's actually way more important than people really think. As well as the next hardware that we're going to be talking about right now. So the fourth thing that comes to mind when thinking of hardware for making videos or streaming is going to be a webcam. You guys know I'm using webcam now. I'm using the Logitech C920. I actually just bought it. It's a really nice 1080p webcam from Logitech. I'm pretty sure it runs for $100 right now. And that's probably the one I would highly recommend over any other one. But I would recommend buying a webcam. I know a lot of people can get away with streaming without a webcam, but I think adding a webcam is way more important than people think. It just kind of allows your viewers to kind of connect with you personally. They get to see you live and talk to you and really kind of gain a connection with you. And I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to making videos and streaming is gaining a connection with your audience. And I think having a webcam for streaming in particular is extremely helpful to do that because they can see you. They know what you look like, they know who you are, and, they can kind of connect with you a little bit more through that because they think that they're, it's almost like standing next to the person. So yeah, webcam is going to be something you're going to look into buying. Obviously, there are certain ones that are not going to work with certain, computers. If you're, let's say, I don't know if if your MacBook doesn't have a certain USB port, maybe it can't run a certain camera. So obviously make sure that your webcam is compatible with all the stuff that you have. But I would definitely look into getting a good webcam, and I think that's really going to help with just gaining your audience and keeping them there and keeping them kind of invested in your channel and helping them feel a connection with you in particular. I think that's extremely important when you're first looking to stream, and even when you're a streamer of like 5 years running now, you're still going to want to be using a webcam. I think it's extremely important. And the last thing when it comes to hardware, this one might not even fit in the hardware category, but we're going to throw it in there anyway. The last thing you want to think of is your internet connection. I know that's kind of a weird one to think if you're going to put that in hardware, but that really is important. I mean, if your internet's not good enough to stream, if let's say your upload is under 5, then you're going to run into some trouble with streaming. You're going to be dropping frames a lot, and it's going to make it extremely difficult to stream really anything. So you want to make sure your internet connection is good enough to be able to stream. And programs like XSplit or like whatever program you're actually going to be using to stream, and we'll talk about software in another video, they usually have some sort of bandwidth test or something on there that'll let you know if you're going to be able to stream or not. So what I would do is go to something like speedtest.net and run your speeds, see what your internet speeds are. And if you don't know if they're good enough or not, you can leave a comment in the video and I'll let you know. But if they're under 5, let's say for the upload, and the download doesn't even really matter unless you're playing and streaming on the same internet. But streaming is more of your upload speed. So if your upload speed is under 5, you're probably going to want to upgrade your internet or upgrade your router or whatever you need to do to give your upload speed more strength, whether it's upgrading your service or whatever it may be. Your upload speed is pretty important when it comes to streaming, so you want to make sure your internet's good enough to do that. And if it's not, obviously make a change so that it is good enough to do that. But that's probably one of the most important things, actually, when you're looking to stream. Because if you're trying to stream with a low internet speed, you're just going to run into so many technical issues. You're going to get extremely discouraged. I've been discouraged before. I think multiple streamers have done it. It happens. It's kind of one of those things that's inevitable. It's going to happen at some point. People get discouraged. People get technical issues. But if you can avoid them, obviously you should. So make sure your internet is good enough to stream, and you will be on your way. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and a comment, and let me know what you want me to talk about in next week's episode. Just kind of recap on everything we talked about, the 5 things you're going to want to make sure you remember before live streaming, hardware-wise, things that you're going to want to make sure you have. 1, a good gaming rig, some sort of computer that's going to allow you to stream. 2, being in capture card, whether you're streaming on a console like an Xbox or a PS3, or your Wii or your Game Boy. I don't know what you're choosing to stream, but if you want to stream a console, you're going to need some sort of capture card to let that, to actually capture that video. So you're going to make sure you buy one of those. So number 2 would be a capture card. Number 3 would be a microphone of some sort, a good microphone that's actually going to bring in some decent audio for your viewers. Number 4, being a webcam so that they can kind of connect with you and gain a better connection with your audience. It just makes it easier to do that. And 5, being your internet speed. So my overall tip at the end of the video for people that are looking to buy things, I don't know, you see a lot of people, over the years that buy, let's say, maybe not the greatest microphone you can get. Maybe they choose to cheap out on the microphone, or they choose to cheap out on the webcam or the capture card or whatever it may be. My opinion is to save up for, if you're going to really invest your time into live streaming, you're going to really invest your time even into making videos, you want to make sure your equipment is top of the notch. You want to make sure your equipment is going to bring out a high quality stream for your viewers. And if it's not, it's not going to be enjoyable to watch. So, regardless of how funny you are, if your stream is lagging up the ass because your internet speed is like, you have an upload speed of like 0.2, then you should probably fix that. But yeah, so hardware is extremely important. Make sure you don't cheap out on it. Don't buy some crappy mic just to have one. Save up for a good mic, buy a good, decent quality microphone. Buy a good capture card that's going to give you good 720p or 1080p quality. Buy a good webcam that's either in 720p or 1080p. Make sure your internet speeds are good. And obviously buy a PC of some sort that's going to allow you to stream. That's going to be able to, not take too much of a strain on your computer. And you'll still be able to actually function and, open Google, for instance, without your computer crashing on you. So anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you've enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and rating. It really does help me out. And I will catch you guys in next week's episode.